Before the video starts, if you're planning on watching this video then getting angry with the outcome of the video without even understanding what's being said, don't watch the video, because I'm gonna read your comment and then just laugh at it. So, Goku versus Saitama. One of, if not the biggest debate in the history of fiction, and absolutely the most heated of all time. 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, 100 squats, and a 10-kilometer run every day for 3 years with no AC. Saitama broke his limiter and attained extraordinary strength. However, this doesn't really mean that his power shoots up to infinity automatically. It just means the more he trains, the stronger he can get without any plateau effect happening on his abilities. Saitama, after the breaking of his limiter, was able to one-punch virtually anyone in his verse until he met an unearthly being named Boros, and just like Saitama, was incredibly powerful, with Boros being born with abnormal innate potential and developed it during his lifetime. And for the first time, we see Saitama's one punch not work, as Boros is able to take consecutive normal hits from Saitama until he gets serious. A viable argument for Saitama's speed comes from being able to surpass Flashy Flash, who was clearly stated to be faster than light multiple times, and legitimately having light-based abilities, and even someone like Awakened Cockroach, who has been stated to be faster than light as well, with Saitama scaling over them for obvious reasons. This would put his speed around FTL, and one thing I'd like to mention is Saitama beating Boros, who I mentioned earlier is stated to be star level, doesn't make Saitama himself star level. This would give him star level attack potency, as a character with a certain degree of attack potency can't necessarily cause destructive feats on that level, but can cause damage to characters that can withstand such forces. However, for the sake of the video, we'll be granting him star level, which puts Saitama as star level with speed above light. Until July 2022, when a new chapter of the One Punch Man manga was released. In this new chapter, we got to see Cosmic Fear Garou perform a faster-than-light feat with Flashy Flash and Platinum Sperm, as well as Garou splitting a continent-length monster in half, and even his Gamma Ray Burst. With even Blast joining in on the fight, we got to see Saitama's true power, where he and Garou nuked an uncountable amount of stars, putting him anywhere from multi-solar system level to multi-galaxy. However, we don't actually know whether these two clashing actually destroy these stars or push them in a further direction, as there's nothing to even solidify the statement of this quote-unquote galaxy-busting feat. But again, I don't want anyone to comment like I'm trying to lowball Saitama, so for this video, I'll be saying he's multi-galaxy level, as that's the most logical highball interpretation of his power. Saitama also sneezes away Jupiter, which holds the mass of over 1,300 Earths, solidifying his planet-busting capabilities. And as I said earlier, this is confirmed to be Saitama's max performance, as shown with this scan here. A common misconception is that Saitama isn't using his full power because he's using one hand to fight Garou. However, this would only give Saitama a handicap as far as his fighting capabilities, and not his actual power that he's releasing with each attack. During his fight with Cosmic Fear Garou, Saitama grows exponentially as displayed on this graph. However, this doesn't mean he can always adapt to any opponent, as Saitama only grows when he's experiencing intense emotions, which in this case is his rage at Garou due to him murdering Genos in cold blood. Not only this, but during their fight, Garou straight up says he's limitlessly strong. However, this is clearly an overstatement because Garou wouldn't know how strong Saitama is, with Saitama himself stating he's using his full power, which disapproves Garou's previous statement. Using this information, it's far more viable and consistent to say Saitama grows limitlessly, and not he's limitlessly strong. But this limitlessly strong statement will be granted to Saitama for this video. So how does this fare up against Goku? Goku and Beerus in the Battle of Gods arc were threatening the entirety of the Universe 7 macrocosm, which contains multiple universe-sized bodies, which are infinite in size, as shown with these scans here on screen. This macrocosm shaking feat is a high universal feat at the start of Dragon Ball Super. Goku performed this feat in his God form that he later absorbed into his base, now being capable of performing that feat in base form. During the Tournament of Power, Goku went toe-to-toe with Jiren, who surpasses Zamasu in his infinite state that engulfed the entirety of Trunks' timeline, and even seeped into the main timeline. Goku then proceeds to win against Jiren at full power, and as I mentioned earlier, Goku absorbed his universe-shaking feat into base, then being capable of multiplying his power by many times just by transforming, with Super Saiyan 1 being a 50 times multiplier, Super Saiyan 2 being a 2 times multiplier off of 1, and 3 being a 4 times multiplier off of 2, which essentially means he's able to become 400 times stronger off his transformations alone, with this stacking onto his godly base form. And this isn't even accounting for his god forms. As for speed, Goku is far beyond the speed of light. traveling through hell, which is calculated at 4.38 quadrillions of times faster than light itself. And this was during the Buu saga. I've seen people downplay the speed of Dragon Ball characters by saying that Dispo was only the speed of light. And the idea of Dispo being the only Dragon Ball character to move at the speed of light or surpass it is a misconception that comes from how his high speed mode, or his sometimes translated as super light speed mode, or something else along the same lines. The speed of light is not specifically referenced in the original name of the technique, and even in OG Dragon Ball, Goku as a mere child was shown dodging lasers. He isn't aim dodging as shown in the second scan, he's clearly upside down and not moving when it's fired. A laser will travel at the speed of light shown with this calculation, and a laser is only light, so it travels at the speed of light. Goku in Dragon Ball was able to dodge Tien's solar flare, an attack that is pure light, and has enough time to get Master Roshi's glasses and then dip. So Goku as early as before Z is faster than light itself. Goku in the Frieza saga escapes Frieza's imprisonment ball, which is described as a paralyzing light with his sheer speed. So Goku in early Z is FTL plus and far faster than light in Super Saiyan, which is a 50 times multiplier. The question then isn't can Saitama beat Goku, but it becomes can Saitama beat Buu Saga Goku? Or Cell Saga Goku? Hell, can he even beat Frieza Saga Goku? With Buhan screaming so hard that he began to create distortions in the space around him, eventually covering the entire living world and eventually wiping out the universe. This scream was actually concentrated by Buhan, and Vegito just straight up tanks his dimensional tear tier attack, with Super Saiyan God Goku at the start of Z being stronger than this Vegito. Then there's Perfect Cell being stated to have infinite power, which by One Punch Man fan logic means true infinity, and Goku embarrassing Cell in the afterlife in the next arc of Z. So no, Saitama doesn't have a chance at beating Buu Saga Goku, let alone full power Goku from the current ongoing Dragon Ball Super manga. And just to get these arguments out of the way, people claiming that he's a gag character or something are just stupid and aren't actual watchers of the anime. A gag character is someone who is unbelievably powerful for comedic effect. Saitama beating someone in one blow isn't funny. Arale, a real gag character because she's stated to be one. She splits the earth in half in one scene and it comes back together in another. A show having comedic scenes doesn't make the character a gag. And if we want to get technical, Goku is more of a gag than that. There's a manga where the dude splits the manga open, which if I wanted to wank everything like these super OPM fans, I could just say that makes him far more powerful since his attacks would be breaking the verse he lives in. And I'm aware that some of you like to bring up low-end feats like Goku getting shot by a laser. So let me just remind you, Saitama couldn't catch a fly. Goku got hurt by a rock, but Saitama got scratched by a cat. So, yeah. Goku in OG Dragon Ball as a child was able to mimic Master Roshi's Kamehameha wave just upon witnessing it. And this isn't because Goku is an alien or a gag, because even the other characters like Tien are able to do the same thing later on. Goku being able to master and learn styles that would take an average fighter decades or centuries to learn in just a few seconds. And this is also shown when he joins the Otherworld tournament, where he fights warriors with much more experience than himself, just for him to adapt to them in a few moments. And the famous technique, Kaioken, is a technique no one has even learned, and Goku learned it relatively quickly. Hit, a 1,000-year-old assassin from an entirely different universe, who can literally skip these. In his fighting intuition and precision, Goku was able to counter hit in his base form, despite the 1,000-year difference in experience. Goku then straight up tells Hit that he's predicting him so that he'll time skip and change up, to no avail. And Goku is still able to anticipate Hit's movements, and Goku has trained for longer than Garou has been alive. With multiple mentors, including literal martial arts gods, he has fought dozens of opponents from all over the multiverse, analyzing and learning their fighting styles in short periods. He learned techniques that took decades to develop in mere seconds. And the reason I'm bringing up Garou is because of the argument that Saitama is more skilled than Garou, and people for some reason think that Garou is more skilled than Goku. This argument is wrong on so many different levels and isn't valid, as Saitama himself stated that he's so much stronger than everyone else that his skill doesn't matter. And even in an arc entirely centered around Saitama learning martial arts, he legitimately gets depressed because he doesn't understand it. Saitama's the same dude who can't even play sports because it's too much. and only runs. Immeasurable speed is a form of speed above that of infinite speed, and many people like to believe that Saitama using this time travel technique to spin himself back in time is a form of immeasurable speed. However, Garou himself even states that this is done via technique. It allows him to use abilities that a average character wouldn't do. And there's speculation about Saitama potentially losing this power after he went back in time, which is interesting. However, using this immeasurable speed feat as an argument for Saitama isn't really viable, as the exact same argument can be made for Goku. In the anime, it is either stopping or skipping through time, and depending on Jiren merely walking alone shook the whole world of Void, which is a world empty of time and space with infinite nothingness. Another feat that is being used to wank Saitama is his hyperspace kicking feat. Not only is this not true, because in the official Viz translations for this chapter of One Punch Man, Garou straight up calls these portals a subspace gate, and although this is Viz who aren't 100% correct in their translations all the time, let's say for a second that this is in fact a hyperspace gate, which still wouldn't make him 4-dimensional. Interacting with a portal is not higher dimensionality, and it's not even close, and in order to prove that, you would need a lot more evidence. And if you've ever read any other series besides One Punch Man, touching hyperspace is common. Hyperspace is an incredibly common term in loads of science fiction works that has loads of different meanings. Hyperspace portals are temporal dimensions. There's nothing implying them to be spatial dimensions. Just because he can grab these portals doesn't mean he's higher dimensional. And the statement that he can touch hyperspace gates is a non-physical interaction rather than a higher dimensional feat, which is heavily supported by him actually interacting with Phoenix Man's spiritual space dimension, which is called non-physical. Using this hyperspace feat isn't viable in any way, as 11 from Stranger Things would be 4D using this logic. Would Jedi and Sith Lords be 4D because the Force is able to manipulate hyperspace? For anyone saying he's 4D for the hyperspace feat, just remember base Momoshiki created a whole 4D alternate dimension, as it was also called a hyperspace. This would also make Garlic Jr. a 4D being. Overall, opening a portal through hyperspace is generic, and my overall point is just that hyperspace feats don't make you 4-dimensional. I saw someone in the comments say something really stupid, like Saitama doesn't take damage or something like that. I'm not even joking. Not only is this just factually incorrect because there's evidence of him straight up just taking damage. In the webcomic, Boros mentions he got a response, and Saitama is visibly affected. The manga version shows it much the same, and some versions explicitly stating that Saitama took damage. Regardless, Boros clearly made some impact, even if it wasn't significant. It's obvious that Saitama doesn't have infinitely high durability or anything, and during his fight with Cosmic Beer Garou, he just blatantly takes a hit to the face and spits out blood, so I don't really know what this argument is. Saitama can time travel. Could he just one-shot Kid Goku? Well, yeah, he absolutely could, unless you want to use the gag argument like Saitama fanboys use. Then Saitama would get railed by this child. I'm joking. That isn't how time travel works in Dragon Ball. It won't affect the present. It's also completely out of character for Saitama. Like, why would he run from a fight? It's fine to have Goku act like an actual goofball in your hypothetical scenario, but Saitama is going to do something that he's only ever done once after the fight ended. Saitama has to sit there and concentrate to do time travel. And guess what happens when Saitama squats to perform his time travel technique? So in conclusion, Saitama's biggest feat that would scale him to multi-galaxy is an actual headcanon and can't even be proven with actual statements. And when he can prove that Saitama can destroy a single galaxy, we can talk about him giving Cell Saga Goku a light warm-up. But until then, Goku violates. However, at the end of the day, these two characters are from their own respective universes where they're the absolute GOAT. And if this video offended you in any way somehow, I'm sorry. Both of these series are incredible in their own ways. But Saitama in his current state cannot beat Goku, but who knows? Maybe one day he'll do some crazy feat that'll make everyone be like, yep, he beats Goku. And if there's one thing I ask of you, if you're a die-hard Saitama fan, it's alright. If you want to leave why you disagree with this video in the comments, it's absolutely fine. Just don't go starting World War III. And with that out of the way, bye.